The rain hammered against the windshield like accusations I couldn't ignore. Each drop a splinter in my chest as I stared at the grainy photo in my lap. My wife's face, twisted in a laugh I hadn't seen in months, pressed close to a stranger's, his hand on her thigh, her eyes alight with fire she'd long extinguished for me. 15 years, and this was how it ended. A manila envelope from a private investigator, delivered in a dingy coffee shop that smelled of burnt grounds and regret. My hand shook, blurring the image, but the truth cut through sharper than any blade. How had we gotten here? It started subtly, like a shadow lengthening at dusk. Sarah and I had built our life in a cozy suburban home, the kind with creaky wooden floors and a backyard swing set gathering rust since our son Jake left for college 2 years ago. Mornings used to be filled with her soft hums over coffee, her fingers brushing mine as she passed a mug. But lately, the kitchen felt colder, the air thick with unspoken voids. She'd come home late from her marketing job, her phone buzzing incessantly, screen angled away from my curious glances. "Just work stuff," she'd murmur, her voice a flat echo of the woman who'd once whispered dreams into my ear under starlit skies. I rationalized it at first, stress from her promotion, the empty nest syndrome we joked about. But doubt gnawed at me like termites in the walls. One night, as thunder rumbled outside our bedroom window, I reached for her in the dark, my hand finding only cool sheets. She was in the living room, curled on the couch with her laptop, the glow illuminating her face in a way that made her seem distant, untouchable. "Can't sleep?" I asked, my voice cracking the silence like fragile glass. She startled, snapping the screen shut. "Yeah, deadlines. Go back to bed, Mark. I'll be up soon." Her smile was perfunctory, lips curving without reaching her eyes. I lingered in the doorway, the carpet rough under my bare feet, inhaling the faint scent of her lavender shampoo mixed with something unfamiliar. Cologne? No, I told myself, shaking off the paranoia. We were solid. We'd survived job losses, Jake's rebellious teen phase, even that scare with her mother's cancer. This was just a rough patch. But the red flags multiplied, whispering warnings I tried to drown out. Her wardrobe shifted. New dresses that hugged her curves, heels that clicked with purpose on our tiled foyer. "For client meetings," she explained over dinner one evening, twirling pasta on her fork without meeting my gaze. The fork scraped against the plate, a grating sound that mirrored the friction in my gut. "You look beautiful," I said, forcing warmth into my tone, but inside, confusion swirled like the red wine in my glass. Why the effort for strangers when our date nights had dwindled to reruns on the couch? Jealousy crept in, a venomous companion, during sleepless hours. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, replaying our history. We met in college, her laughter cutting through a crowded party like sunlight. She was ambitious, fiery. I was a steady one, the engineer who built bridges in more ways than one. Love had been easy then, unscarred. Now, guilt twisted my thoughts. Had I become complacent? Forgotten anniversaries, buried in work emails while she craved connection? Denial armored me. Maybe she was planning a surprise or dealing with something privately. But fear whispered otherwise, a cold breath on my neck. The turning point came on a crisp autumn afternoon. I found a receipt crumpled in her coat pocket while doing laundry, the detergent's floral scent cloying as I unfolded it. A boutique hotel downtown, 2 glasses of champagne, dated the night she claimed a team-building retreat. My heart thudded, a drumbeat of betrayal echoing in my ears. "What's this?" I confronted her that evening, the paper trembling in my outstretched hand. The kitchen lights cast harsh shadows on her face, highlighting the flicker of panic before she composed herself. "Oh, that client lunch turned into drinks. Nothing big." Her words were casual, but her fingers drummed on the countertop, a nervous rhythm that betrayed her. I wanted to believe her. God, how I ached to, but the lie hung between us like smoke. "Sarah, talk to me. You've been distant." My voice broke, vulnerability raw in the air, scented with garlic from a half-eaten stir-fry. She sighed, crossing her arms, her blouse whispering against her skin. "Mark, I'm tired. Work's intense. Can't we just not do this tonight? The deflection stung, a slap disguised as exhaustion. Anger simmered beneath my hurt, but love tempered it. I pulled her into a hug, feeling her stiffen before relaxing incrementally. That night, as rain pattered on the roof, I lay beside her, our bodies inches apart, yet worlds away, my mind racing with what-ifs. Unable to shake the unease, I hired the PI a week later. Discretion promised over a crackling phone line, his voice gravelly like an old detective novel. "Give me 2 weeks," he said. The decision weighed on me, a moral anchor dragging through guilt. Was I invading her privacy or protecting our marriage? Doubt plagued me during stakeouts in my own imagination, picturing her laughing with someone else, her hand in another's. Denial fractured. Anger bubbled at the imagined interloper. The envelope arrived on a foggy morning. The PI's office, a nondescript building reeking of stale cigarettes. Inside, photos, Sarah entering a cafe with a tall man, his smile predatory. Them in a park, her head on his shoulder, a hotel lobby, hands intertwined. The timestamps matched her late nights. Heartbreak crashed over me like a wave, saltwater tears blurring the evidence. Confusion warred with rage. How long? Why him? He was her colleague. I realized from a LinkedIn search on my phone, the screened blue light harsh in the dim car. Confrontation loomed, a storm building. I drove home, the engines hum a monotonous drone against my pounding pulse. Sarah was in the garden, clipping roses, thorns pricking her fingers unnoticed. "We need to talk," I said, my voice steady despite the tremor inside. She turned, soil-dusted gloves dropping petals like confetti of our shattered life. "What's wrong?" Her concern felt genuine, layering guilt atop my pain. I thrust the photos forward, watching her face drain of color, the garden's earthy scent clashing with the metallic taste of betrayal in my mouth. "Mark, She crumpled onto the bench, the wood creaking under her weight. Tears welled, but anger flared in me. "How could you? After everything?" My shout startled birds in the trees, wings flapping chaotically. "It wasn't planned," she whispered, voice hoarse. "David, he listened when you were buried in work. It started as coffee, then—" Her confession unraveled slowly, each word a thread pulling apart our tapestry. Guilt etched her features. She'd rationalized it too, convinced our spark had faded, seeking validation in stolen moments. But love lingered in her eyes, complicated by remorse. "I still love you, Mark." This was a mistake. The revelation twisted deeper. She'd ended it weeks ago, tormented by shame, her distant a shield against confession. Yet the damage was done, trust fragmented like glass underfoot. Inner conflict raged. Part of me wanted to forgive, to rebuild from the ruins, remembering her support during my father's death, her joy at Jake's birth. But anger demanded justice. Denial whispered it was all a nightmare. In the ensuing silence, broken only by distant traffic hum, a shocking twist emerged. "There's more," she admitted, voice barely audible. "I'm pregnant." The words hung, a bombshell in the blooming garden. "Whose?" The question burned unspoken, her hand on her belly a gesture of protection and plea. Tests would tell, but the uncertainty shattered me anew. Heartbreak compounded by hope's cruel ambiguity. As sunset bled across the sky, painting our home in crimson hues, I stood frozen, emotions a whirlwind. Love clashing with fury, guilt mirroring hers. We'd navigate this moral gray, perhaps salvage fragments or part ways in quiet devastation. The betrayal wasn't just hers. It was ours, born in neglect and unspoken needs. In that moment, the world narrowed to us, raw and exposed, the future a suspenseful void.